Hey, beautiful souls! You're listening to Spiral Eliminations, where modern news meets ancient mysteries, and sometimes a little spilled wine. I'm Skye Gracely, your LA-based resident astrology junkie and crystal devotee, still finding glitter in places I won't name.
And I'm Reece Barrows, tuning in from London, part-time hermetic practitioner, full-time collector of questionable silk capes, and, so I'm told, Skye's cosmic banter rival.
It's true, he really does wear the capes. For ambience, he claims.
A fine tradition, unlike my weather, which lately has the juiciness of a medieval cellar.
If you're wondering why we sound extra buttery today, that's not just vibes. That's Brian, our master of the soundboard. He smooths out every pop, hiss, and crosstalk so you never hear my dog bark or Reece pouring his third cup of tea in the background.
The unsung hero of multi-dimensional audio. Cheers, Brian.
So, before we swirl too far off topic, today's story is wild. Picture this. A dapper British guy, James Wellesley, just got hauled into New York court for running a $99 million wine investment scam. No barrels, no vintage, just IOUs and a lot of furious millionaires holding empty glasses.
It's the kind of affair where full-bodied takes on a whole new, very literal meaning.
But here's the real question. What if there's more fermenting beneath the headlines? Secret cellars, lost empires, and a wine with the power to awaken memories from the ancient world.
You had me at secret cellars.
And to help us uncork all this, we've invited a truly singular guest, Jacinta Jazz Morales, sensoralist sommelier, sensory historian, and founder of the Palate of the Ancient Supper Club and podcast, a woman who can read the story of a civilization from the rim of a glass. Jazz, welcome.
Muchísimas gracias, Skye. Big hugs across the wires. And just so everyone knows, capes are highly practical in wine cellars, especially when you want to make a dramatic entrance.
At last, vindication for my wardrobe choices.
Jazz, you just got back from Provence, right? Were you foraging ancient grains or chasing forbidden flavors?
Both. I tasted bread infused with wild herbs not seen on a table in 500 years. The past really does speak if you know how to listen or taste.
That's the magic word for this episode. So, whatever's in your own glass, we're going deep on history, alchemy, and a kind of wine you've never heard of. Ready to decode some secrets?
Always.
Let's uncork the impossible.
Let's set the table. The headlines say, James Wellesley, British financier, just got extradited to Brooklyn for pulling off a $99 million wine investment swindle. The plan? People would hand over titles to rare vintages, think cases of legendary Bordeaux, and get huge loans, expecting to get the wine back when paid up. Only, plot twist, most of that wine never existed in the first place. The paper trail was, well, imaginative.
So wait, this is like, I promise I'm holding your grandma's wedding dress in a vault. Just send me a check. Oops, lost the key. But with, Billionaires and Chateau Blah Blah 1802 labels?
Exactly. And in place of actual barrels, you have ledgers full of fiction. Investors from Paris to Hong Kong thinking they owned a taste of history when really they were out of fortune and holding claims to nothing but air.
That's so wild. I always thought wine collecting was like, my apartment's top shelf, one fancy bottle from Trader Joe's for Mercury retrograde, and that's it. Not, I just lost my yacht to fake Pinot Noir.
For some, it's obsession. It's not just currency. It's legacy, tradition, even magic, if you listen to the more whimsical collectors.
So, Jazz, real talk, have you ever poured for someone who thought their bottle was like carrying the wisdom of their ancestors? Or maybe it just fizzled?
I see. Sometimes a label says centuries of glory, but the wine tastes more like a Tuesday mistake. Still, there are the other stories. Bottles that pass quietly from hand to hand, not for money but for something deeper. Family secrets, powers, maybe even curses. I've seen grown men go pale at a whisper about a cast that keeps you dreaming.
Wait, like dreaming how? Do people actually think wine can change you, or is that just wishful tasting?
Depends who's pouring, Carino. There are collectors, serious ones, who chase certain vintages for what they remember, not just what they taste.
That's the piece no one reports. Beneath every great cellar is a deeper vault. Stories, rumors, even codes buried with the old world. And sometimes the stakes get much stranger.
So are we talking secret societies and secret cellars, or like just really serious sommeliers?
Why not both? Some bottles carry more than wine. Some stories travel further than time.
And here's where our story starts to get deliciously weird.
Okay, officially tingling over here. What exactly are we swirling in our glass next?
All right, let me serve up the real vintage, one you won't find on any menu. Among sommeliers with gray in their beards, even a few archivists in dusty libraries, there's a tale older than Bordeaux itself. El vino de la memoria, the wine of memory.
Is that, like a real thing, or more like a fairy tale for people who drink way too much Chianti?
Fairy tales start somewhere, Skye. This one's written in ledgers, hush-hush tasting notes, family diaries passed down like relics. There are symbols, little spirals, sometimes words and alphabets no one knows. They all trace back to the rumor. If you find the right bottle and you drink, you remember things. Not just your night, but maybe your ancestors' lives.
That sounds halfway between the Philosopher's Stone and an ancestral USB drive.
Something like that. The legend says, the order of the Menmosine vintners, far back in lost Tartaria, grew their grapes on land buzzing with energy, ley lines, sacred trees, the works. The wine they made, it wasn't just fermented, it was parched. Layered with botanical rituals, timed to star alignments. If you had a drop of the right bloodline, it could unlock things buried deep.
Okay, but like what things actually? I mean, I love the idea, but is it just a fancy metaphor, or are there like stories of someone actually remembering something crazy?
There's a tale from Galicia. A woman at a wedding drinks from a mysterious cask, wakes up the next morning singing lullabies in an extinct language, her grandmother's tongue, lost for generations. Or a mason in Prague who, after a secret tasting, sketches towers that match ancient ruins no one's mapped before.
That's like my abuela used to talk about ghost recipes. Things she'd cook from memory, but no one knew where they came from. Is that the same kind of thing?
Exactly. Only imagine if the ghost isn't just a feeling, but a flood of knowledge, sounds, skills even.
And throughout history, moments like these show up where you least expect them. Napoleon's armies protecting a single shipment, their Macked officers raiding cellars with lists, not in French, but in runes, all for bottles they never drank, bottles that vanished.
So it's not just about showing off a bottle at Thanksgiving? There are like secret societies, actual Dan Brown stuff, hunting for these?
Well, sometimes a cellar is more than just a cellar. Sometimes it's a vault full of locked dreams. You'd be surprised how many powerful people have kept a bottle for emergencies.
And have you ever encountered something you couldn't quite explain, Jazz?
Let's just say, some stories are best uncorked slowly. But I've tasted things that linger even when the bottle's gone.
Oh, okay. Now I really, really want to know what happened. Can we like pour that story in the next segment?
I kept a diary, but I never wrote half of what I saw.
Stay tuned. This is where the legend steps into the light.
Let me transport you. Picture a civilization most maps now scrub out. Tartaria, cities spun like wheels across the Eurasian steppe, towers laced with copper, roots entwined with trees you'd swear came from another world. The people there believed memory was a treasure, not of books or artifacts, but something stored hidden in taste and blood.
That's echoed in old architecture, cathedrals, fortresses, even certain bridges. There's a ledger from 1808 in Moscow, a war journal, describing wine black as midnight, bottled to sing the storm of the ancestors. That's not a description you find in a typical Somm's catalogue.
Exactly. The order of the Memnosine vintners, half botanist, half priest, cultivated their vines on lines where the earth hummed. Some say they chanted over the barrels, distilling not just alcohol, but echoes. The right person, drinking at the right moment, it could knock loose a door. Suddenly, you'd speak lines in a tongue your family lost to exile, or wake up sketching blueprints for machines no professor could teach you.
So like, wait, if you drank the right bottle, you might just out of nowhere remember a skill or a language or like, I don't know, a secret recipe. Does it only work on special blood? Or like, could it just hit anyone?
It's said to run strongest in carrier lineages, but legends tell of rare vintages. Archi, that, given to a stranger, can spark visions. Not everyone keeps them. That's why popes tried to lock it away. Why Napoleon's agents ransacked Bordeaux cellars, crossing cryptic diagrams with family trees.
Even during World War II, documents show Nazi occult divisions shipping mystery crates between Bordeaux and Crimea, marked not with swastikas, but spirals and stylized trees. They knew they were after more than just currency. Intelligence files hint that casks never reached their destinations, split or vanished, curiously, just ahead of major scientific breakthroughs.
So, okay, Jazz, when you tasted that bottle, what did it feel like? Did it hurt, or was it all in your mind?
It was impossible, really. My tongue prickled, almost electric. The flavor was ancient, earth, iron, burning sage. Then my hands trembled. I could see patterns dancing at the edge of my vision, zigzags and spirals, almost like ancestral fingerprints. My mouth opened, and I chanted words that weren't Spanish or Fang, but tumbled out with tears. For 2 nights after, I dreamt waking, glass towers under green stars, crystal trees, and people whose faces felt both foreign and absolutely mine.
You remembered a life that wasn't yours, or was?
Maybe both. Each sense was a memory. Taste was time. Color became song. It stayed with me. Sometimes a smell on the wind, or thunder, and it flickers back.
It's not just you. There are records, coded but traceable, of musicians recalling lost scales, builders solving architectural riddles left behind for centuries. When authorities find these people, the stories get buried, classified, lost.
I mean, it's like a superpower nobody's allowed to have. Wow. Does that mean with the wine out in the wild, more people could just wake up tomorrow knowing things humanity forgot?
That's the tremor beneath their feet, Skye. People are already whispering. Online, between families, in dreams they only half admit to. The genie's out, or at least the cork is.
And what happens next is what this era was built to prevent.
Something's waking, and we might not even know it's in us until it's too late.
So, Jazz, with the wine of memory out there, are we seeing awakening now? Not just rumors, but people the world might actually know.
Oh, absolutely. And not just in ivory towers. There's a nurse in Milwaukee never studied beyond high school Spanish who woke up after a glass at a family gathering, suddenly singing lullabies in Old Welsh. Her daughter recorded it on her phone. It went viral before the whole thread vanished overnight.
No way. A nurse? Normal, not some Illuminati cousin?
Exactly. Or a forklift driver in Melbourne who built a working model of an Incan irrigation system says he saw it in a dream, and now engineers are asking him for advice.
And how do they react? Is it, I don't know, were people scared? Or is it this magical thing?
It's both. Some cry, homesick for a life they never knew they'd lost. Others laugh or get frightened, thinking they're losing their minds. It's almost indescribable, Skye. Like nostalgia, homesickness, and deja vu rolled into one big tidal wave.
But then, there's the other side. Forums devoted to memory awakenings quietly disappear. Threads on TikTok or Discord get taken down with no warning. I know an antiquarian in Paris who told me museum reps are buying up certain old bottles and diaries in private sales, sometimes paying absurd sums, then locking them away indefinitely. Agencies labeled cultural outreach have been contacting people for, quote, wellness interviews after news goes viral.
That's wild. Real people just waking up with whole new pieces of themselves? I already get weird looks just for talking to my tarot deck. If that happened to me, I'd be scared, but also maybe kind of hopeful.
You wouldn't be alone, Skye. A lot of people are quietly finding each other. Message boards, coffee shops, family gatherings where suddenly everyone's piecing together old songs, maps, or recipes with a feeling I almost remember. If you listen closely, the world's humming with it. I think it's beautiful.
Just remember, as the past cracks open, the old powers will try to glue down the lid. The forces that wiped out Tartaria are still lurking, in new clothes, fancier names, but just as obsessed with keeping the lock on the cellar door.
So, if you're listening and this sounds familiar, if you or someone you know has a memory awakening, or if you suddenly can carve runes or dream in a dead language, let us know. I mean it. We want your story, and maybe you're not as alone as you think.
If a gift finds you, protect it. Share it with those who listen. The world's not just waking up, it's remembering itself.
Okay, full confession. Tonight, my mind is racing. Part of me wants to stare at all my wine bottles and see if I can channel secret wisdom. The other part, very nervous. Like, maybe the rose that spilled on my tarot cards this week was actually a blessing in disguise? Should I worry if my dreams get weirder?
Only if you start reciting ancient Sanskrit in your sleep, Skye. Though frankly, with your track record for attracting the unusual, I wouldn't be surprised.
Excuse you. If I wake up building Tartarian crystal towers out of fridge magnets, I'm blaming you and your capes.
Then I'll consider us even, as long as you promise to share the blueprints over a glass of properly mysterious, non-Trader Joe's wine.
I see the start of a ritual. For a glass, spill a secret. Skye's shelf is a portal. Reece, bring the velvet. But beware. Sometimes a bargain bottle holds the wildest memories. Hints of cosmic dust, with the finish of birthday candle wax.
Best tasting note ever. If anyone out there's got bottles with flavors like that, or you just started playing Mesopotamian harps after uncorking a Cabernet, please write to us. We promise not to send Brian with a net.
We mean it. Your memories might be the clue that ties all this together. We'll be reading our favorites in an upcoming listener mail episode, so don't hold back those ancestral daydreams.
Share your gifts, darlings. Every remembering opens a door for someone else. And if the world feels stranger, maybe you're exactly where you're meant to be.
To waking up and remembering what never quite left us.
To new golden ages and capes that never go out of style.
And to wine, real or mythic, spilling light onto old shadows.
Stay sparkling, everyone. Next week, ley lines, city secrets, and maybe another spilled drink. Good night.